Hi again. We'll be graphing a system of inequalities. So we have 2x plus 3y is less than or equal to 12. Always the best way to graph this inequality right here, or this linear system, is to do it by finding the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Again, if you want to find the x-intercept, just ignore the 2x there and solve for, sorry, if you're solving for the x-intercept, just ignore the 3y and just go 2x equals 12. Ignore the inequality sign for now because we're just trying to graph. We're not going to do any shading yet. And therefore, x equals 6. And if I want to find the y-intercept, all you need to do is just ignore everything here with the x and the x. Why? Because you're making the x 0 if you want to find the y-intercept, and therefore this disappears. So all you're solving for is 3y equals 12 and y equals 4. So now knowing the x-intercept, which is 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right there, and knowing the y-intercept, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, these are enough points to graph a very accurate graph. So there you go. Okay, now after you graph the graph, you need to shade because it's an inequality. So how do we shade? When you're shading, what you want to do, you want to test. I'm just going to take this to this side right here. Test 0, 0 is the best number to test unless your graph is going through 0, 0. If it is going through 0, 0, then you cannot test 0, 0. But 0, 0 is easier to test with because in here, when you sub in 0 for x and sub in 0 for y, you end up with 0 on the left side less than or equal to 12. Is this true? Yes, it is true. 0 is less than 12. So therefore, you shade where your testing point is. And here 0 and 0 happens to be below the graph. That's what I meant, below this graph. So 0, 0 is below this graph. Therefore, you shade everywhere below the graph, you know. So that's how you do your shading. And this is the answer for this one. We will do another one which involves two systems of equations. X plus y is less than or equal to 4. And 2x plus y is greater than or equal to 2. So this is the x, this is the y. Again, if I want to graph this first line right here, I'm just going to ignore the x, and I get y equals 4. So the y-intercept is 4. And if I'm going to graph the x-intercept, I ignore the y, and then I get x equals 4. And therefore, this line here is just going to look like this. And the other line, if you block the 2x, you get y equals 2, which is right there. And if you block the y, you get 2x equals 2, which means x equals 1. And that's right there. Now, so now, we're going to graph the other line. So the other line is more like this. It's going to make this line a little bit longer right there. Now we're going to do the shading. So I'm going to test the first one. I'm going to test x plus y equals 4, and 0, 0 is below this line here, the x plus y equals 4. So I'm going to test here first. So I'm testing 0, 0. And therefore, in that one, I'm going to get 0 plus 0 is less than or equal to 4. You end up with 0 is less than or equal to 4, and that's true. So therefore, since 0 and 0 is below this line right here, so I'm going to shade everywhere below this line. Now, how about the other one? And the other one, I'm going to test again 0, 0 as well for the blue line, so I'm just going to get 2 times 0 plus 0 is greater than or equal to 2. Now I have 0 is greater than or equal to 2. That's false. So if it's false, I don't shade where 0 is for the blue line. The 0, 0 is on this side of the blue line. And since it's false, therefore I don't shade on this side, I shade on the opposite side. So I'm going to shade the common area where both of them are shaded is in this little piece right here. And therefore your shading must be, I'm just going to shade. So the shading should be just in this area, where the two shadings, they intersect. And I'm just going to get rid of the rest. So again, one more time, I'm going to go over this. Now, when we tested 0, 0 for this line right here, the x plus y equals 4, it was true. So 0, 0 happens to be below this line. So therefore, I'm shading below the line. But here, when we tested 0, 0, which happens again to be below the blue line, but it was false, then I don't shade below this line. I'm going to shade above the line. And so if you see these two arrows that I mark here, they meet in this little piece right here, and that's where we shade for this inequality. I hope this helps. Thank you for watching. Math is fun. It's like a puzzle. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.